guys, welcome back to the group view. This is one of your hosts, Alejandro. I'm joined here by
Carlos.
And Julian, how are you guys? Hope you had a good week.
your Mike. We also
A little technical difficulties here. Sorry, apologize for that, guys. Anyways,
I apologize.
mic
guys.
check. Do a little mic check, please. Oh my
In
god.
case that didn't get caught, this is Alejandro. Welcome back to the group view. As they mentioned, Carlos, Julian. We also have Luigi in the back.
Hey, what's up?
Tim and Matt.
What's going on?
So today we wanted to talk about, diets, all the diets going around. One of the reasons why it did spark is because my wife actually recently went vegan. Somebody here is kind of opposed to vegans, so let's hear your point of view onto why you don't agree with them.
I mean, like, I wouldn't say that I'm opposed to it. My only thing is like, all right, so I have different like thoughts on it. Okay,
Yeah.
First one is like, I feel like when somebody says that they're vegan, they start looking at other people weird.
And start judging them?
They start looking at like they're above you. You know what I mean? Like they're the healthiest person ever.
Right.
But like,
I agree with that.
right? Like,
Yeah,
and then
it's,
to
like,
me,
weird.
it's just like, so okay, you're vegan. Does that mean that like you're gonna live a really healthy life? Like you're going to be sickness free? And so where's the proof behind it? Like,
some people do have proof. I don't think that there's any way to fully avoid like getting sick forever, but
so then what's the point of being vegan?
There's definitely studies around it.
No, there's definitely
Yeah,
studies.
they
Yeah,
definitely
I mean,
have studies
it's
on
not
it.
like it just started happening.
Yeah.
This has been going on for, I want to say, what, decades?
Right.
You know.
But like, what are the studies behind it? Because then at the end of it, like, just because you're vegan doesn't mean that you don't eat processed food. Like their food is still processed.
It's
still bad.
It also doesn't mean that it's necessarily healthy for your body.
Exactly.
It's,
Exactly.
you know,
That's true.
and now, by the way, guys, just so you know, we're just focusing on the diet portion. We're not
Right,
talking
right.
about, obviously the humanitarian ideas behind it in terms of animal abuse and everything like that. We're just
Well,
talking
that's
about the
another
diet.
that's another thing as well that like
that is
really
something for
it really bothers me, because then it's like
No.
people become vegan or vegetarian. No, like, let's talk about it. People become vegan and vegetarian, and then it's like you start seeing all these videos of why you shouldn't eat meat because
Right.
the animal. But
it's true.
where was that thought 10 years ago when you weren't vegan, when you weren't you know what I mean?
When they were buying like
Well,
5
now-
different steaks.
Maybe they got woke.
Well, now you have, there's more access to these things as well. Like there's video on it, there's studies behind it. There's people who go behind the scenes to these farms and take videos where they're not allowed to. The employees aren't allowed to. So now you have more information about it.
Right.
It's being exposed online. So
That's
that's
true.
why, recently we've had a lot more, knowledge around that area. And that's why it's become like this whole moral dilemma.
Right.
Like, I will say, like, obviously since my wife went vegan, like I've incorporated a lot more vegan meals into my diet, and I mean, in terms of bloating and stuff, like I don't feel as bloated when I eat those meals as opposed to like animal protein.
So what did you like incorporate? Like, what did you change? Because I
I
know
just
you
take out
have
the- I
a
just take out the
refrigerator.
meat.
Let's talk about your refrigerator
Nah,
full of meat. But
there's a lot of
but
deceased.
that ain't so vegan. But it's alright.
Nah, there are a lot
Uh-huh.
of deceased animals.
It's like
there.
a
I won't
butcher
deny
shop.
that. Yo, nah. Don't do that. Now, for any vegan out there, they're not lying. I'm sorry. But with that said, though, like, I take out the meat of it. Like, for example, like, if I would have rice and beans, I'll take out the chicken or the steak from it and just have the rice and beans, and I'll incorporate an avocado.
That's
Just to
cool.
add some texture. I recently made a stir fry with just tofu. I'm not gonna lie, tofu is trash. Like,
It's
I'm not a
disgusting.
chef.
It
It
doesn't
is
taste
disgusting.
like anything. It's
It
literally
doesn't.
like
But it's filling, and like I don't feel bloated. That's the only thing I like. 'Cause,
Right.
like, for
Yeah.
example, like when we eat a lot of meat, man, I do feel bloated. Like after I'm done
Well,
eating.
meat and especially
Right.
dairy products.
Right.
Yeah,
like
And let me-
pizza
I
and
really don't
things
have
like
too
that.
many dairy products.
let me ask
My
you
brother
guys.
loves eggs, though.
No, I do. That's actually my diet. Like in the mornings, in the mornings, and usually, I'd say probably at least 3-4 times a week. It's like boiled eggs, and most people that know me and that
It
are
doesn't
close
have-
to me,
Eggs don't have dairy in it.
What?
they do.
No, I don't.
Yes, it is.
Eggs?
No.
Eggs?
Of course, they do.
Eggs are dairy?
No.
No?
No.
Anyway, so like I was
Oh.
saying,
They're not a dairy product.
Oh, so there you go. So
Oh.
scratch that off.
right, we'll scratch that off. But anyway, so
So
like
no
I was
dairy.
Gonna, so like
But
I was
we
gonna
eat a
ask you
lot
guys.
of dairy products.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Pizza, things like that.
But I was gonna ask you guys. So what do you think about perhaps maybe doing like a half vegan and half regular diet? Like, what do you guys think about that? Or would you consider somebody that does that maybe like a hypocrite? because they're kind of like back and forth, back and forth.
No,
mean,
like
How do you guys
now.
feel about that?
no, like I listen. I respect people and whatever they choose.
You sure? Because you was
No, I
attacking
do.
them early on.
No. It's not. My attack. My attack is towards like being attacked, feeling attacked for choosing to eat meat,
Nah, I get
for
you.
choosing to live. Like, look, everybody. I mean, obviously, like you guys know me, but like people, at my job and stuff, they think that like I'm super healthy because I go to the gym, because they think that I'm super healthy, and I'm not. I mean, I've changed my health a lot.
Nah, yeah, we know you're not.
I'm really not.
Damn,
but I've
putting
changed.
my boy in the spot.
I know, right?
Okay.
But I've changed my health a lot, like the way that I eat. I
Right.
used to eat out a lot,
Hey.
and now I don't anymore.
Okay.
I do a lot of more home cooked meals and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So that's my diet, But I also still do my once a week like
Right.
cheat meal,
That's cool.
and I enjoy that. And I'm always gonna do that. And listen,
Yeah.
And I think
No,
95, I would say at least 95% of the people do that, because otherwise you would just go crazy. Literally like cooking
No, I mean,
and
a
eating
lot of
it all
people
the
do.
time.
Like, I mean, if you can afford it, I think you'll eat out a lot. Like the way I view it with diets, because I have tried like a lot of diets, a lot of different diets. The way I
Yes,
see
you
it is
have.
you have to
yes, you have.
figure out what works for your body, and
Right.
you won't know that unless you try different stuff.
Have you figured it out
I
after all
think
those
so.
diets?
I mean, personally, I do. I find that intermittent fasting for me works. which
It's
basic-
terrible. It is terrible.
No, it's not.
It is
I think
so.
I
no.
think it's
I
really
think
bad
it's
for your
so
body,
unhealthy.
honestly.
I think
it is.
I think you may
Yo.
feel good for the first like 2 years, but then after that, like your body's going to feel it.
I mean, I've
Yeah.
been on it for 3 years and we're all right. We're moving. The way I see it is
Debatable,
like I-
debatable.
It's definitely debatable.
Because
Like
you
I
are
said-
you're definitely injury prone. You're
Yo,
definitely
keyword.
Yeah,
The
he's like,
key word is what
it's
works for
true.
your body.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
and it's
Yo.
not working for your
Yo,
body.
It's not bad right now. We're
it's
cool.
not bad, dude. But jokes aside, yeah, as your brother, like
Damn.
You literally- out of
Wow,
10
they're
games,
attacking you, man.
So this
out of 10
podcast
games.
is an intervention. I'm sorry,
It
guys.
just, it
Yeah.
just became an intervention.
please,
What is your name and tell us why you're here?
right?
Nah.
12 step.
No, look. I mean,
First,
it
you
works
got to
for me,
recognize
though.
the problem.
It
No,
works
like
for me.
you're right. It's whatever works for you. Like I know that I can't personally do it
Nah, I know you
because
like
I
me.
have to like eat breakfast in the morning. I have to.
Me too.
No, seriously. Like
100%.
I've gone through like periods where like let's say I am like super late to work and I won't eat breakfast. My day is done.
I know.
It's over.
You
Like,
feel, like
completely done.
complete. Yeah, you
Yeah.
feel out of it like 100%.
I start getting a headache.
Yeah.
Like it's just over.
Yeah, you
And
just
that's
can't
my
function. You
body
can't function.
telling me that listen, you gotta eat.
Right. That's why I
That's
don't know
what
how
it
you
is.
do it. That like I ask you sometimes, we talk like around noon, like, oh hey, what do you have for breakfast? Nothing. Oh, I'm probably gonna get something at like 1 p.m.
Yeah,
It's
but
like, really?
I don't have breakfast at all, and I eat lunch when I'm working throughout the work week at 1 o'clock.
That's what I'm saying.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I have a coffee.
what
in
about the
morning,
previous? So like the previous night, when was the last time you had a meal? Like
dinner?
what you
Dinner
say?
time,
Which is like around what time?
7:30,
Okay. I mean,
and so I don't eat until about 1 o'clock the next day. But I usually have coffee and a snack, and then I go into my 1 o'clock lunch.
also you do have like a little something in the morning, coffee and a snack.
A snack meaning like,
But I guess-
a granola bar.
So
at
then-
most.
So then I guess the question is like, how do you feel? Like how energetic are you?
I'm fine actually.
Like jokes aside, are you in the
Yeah,
office,
yeah.
or you're not like literally falling on your
No,
desk?
I find it when I have food in the morning, I'm more disruptive. Like I have to, I don't know, it affects me more in the morning than it does.
It's pretty interesting,
in, like,
actually.
the evening. Or
I mean, like I'm saying, like, look, you won't
Lunchtime.
know until you try it. That's all I'm saying.
and I didn't even do it purposely to try it like that.
Yeah.
That's just what I felt was good for me throughout for the workday.
Yeah.
Because when I go to work, if I eat something, then I feel a little woozy or nauseous. If it's early, like 9 o'clock or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Nah, it works.
So
No, I mean,
don't. I stay
it's-
away from
It's
that.
whatever. I guess it's whatever works for you and your body. Like I
Right.
said, for my body, it's just
Yeah.
since high school, I've done this, and I've gone through periods where like I wouldn't have breakfast and I would feel completely. So that's how I figured out that listen,
I used
my
to,
body, I
yeah.
need
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I used to do breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to
Yeah.
force breakfast too.
Hey.
So sometimes, because it's to gain weight too.
Oh.
So I would force breakfast and then
Yeah.
we'd have lunch.
I
So-
feel like there's no like set diet and one diet that just works for like
No,
everybody.
no,
There's no
there'll
magic
never be
diet,
a-
and
yeah.
there isn't.
That's why I don't like when people are trying to force it, and that's what
Right.
I agree with you. Like with some vegans, there are like those extremists that are like, "Yo, if you're not a vegan, f you, this and that," and they are very intense. So I agree with you on that.
I don't think it's extremist. Like I
Not
think it's
all of
every.
them. Nah,
like,
not all of them are like that. I
don't-
mean, maybe
I
they
have a-
low key
I have a-
judge you.
I have a friend who's vegan, but she's not very pushy. She just informs you,
Yeah.
and then she'll say, why don't you try it out and see how it goes.
But they look at you like you're gonna eat that meat right by me. Like you're gonna.
I
you're gonna-
haven't had.
It's like
meat.
a religious thing. Like it's not
That's
so
true.
religious. Listen.
I
This
mean,
is
well,
just
first of all,
passion
if
for
you're a
something, but
vegan and you're going out to, let's say, dinner or lunch, and you're with a non-vegan, you got to be prepared for that.
Oh
If
yeah,
not,
100%.
you deserve that.
No,
Like,
you
it's
should, but I'm
hard.
telling you, like they're not.
That's their.
They're
fault.
not, and they
they're-
say
in
that
their
it's
mi-
really
yeah.
hard.
In their mind, I'm telling you, it becomes a religious thing.
I mean,
It's
I'll
like-
tell them right now. Look, I'm eating a steak,
Right.
so you can put up with it or go somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why they get like that is more because of the morality side of it. The animals and things like that.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you,
That's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, if you had
Yeah.
told them that you go and hunt your meat, maybe it's a little bit different. But
A
not
little more
everybody
extreme.
has the access to go to the.
What do you think
mountains
about that,
and hunt
Luigi?
elk.
I don't care. I like meat. Eat the meat.
Damn,
I'm
my
a
boy
carnivore.
say
dude.
screw the vegan diet.
Oh, I didn't say
You would never do that. No, you don't
it's
find
not
so.
me.
But what's interesting to me is that Alex, you've tried to incorporate, a vegan diet as well as like on top of intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
So how does that affect
Like the
you?
way my daily diet goes is I'll wake up, obviously, go drink some water. I have lemon water, and then around 12:15, I'll have a fruit. Try to be like a grapefruit, banana, apple. And then at 30 minutes after that, I let the fruit digest, and then I have my first meal. That first meal is usually like super packed, like big. Recently, that's been my vegan meal. So it'll be whatever I make. I'm not going to just pretend like I know what I'm making every time. And then when I get home, then I'll probably have something with some meat in it. Unless I'm just lazy to cook, and then I'll just have something else. Like, it all depends. I might incorporate tofu or stuff, but that's how my day goes. I have those 2 meals, and then if I'm super hungry at night, I'll have some cereal or granola.
So you're like a hybrid. You're like a
Yeah.
mix.
Yeah.
You're like a mix of vegan, vegetarian, as
Like-
well as like a meat
yeah.
diet.
Like, because I do love meat. Like you said, like, I love meat. I don't think I can ever give it up. I do agree with like the morality of it. I hate that we torture animals to get, just product out of it. But it's hard for me to give it up. I've been so used to it. But if I can incorporate as much as I can. So what I'm trying to do is like 4 or 5 days a week, eat a lot of vegan meals, and then the other 2-3 days try to incorporate some meat because I love meat. That's
Right.
just me.
Yeah.
And it worked. I mean, so far it's
As
worked.
long
I've
as
only
it-
been
yeah.
on it for a week.
So how did you see like the difference? Because remember, like, so in our college days, we used to eat like
Yo.
4 or 5 meals.
Yo, yeah. Nah, when I first,
We used to eat a lot.
Yeah, we ate over.
We had.
Now we
Yeah.
did eat a lot,
Yeah,
but we
way
were
too
also. You gotta realize we were also super active. Like almost every day we were doing something.
Right.
Like right now with work, you're sitting down on a desk so much, so I think that affects it. And, like,
Yeah,
I
of
guess
course, it
makes
affects it
easier.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I first transitioned into like intermittent fasting, it was tough because I was still working out and running a lot, so it was tough for me to get used to it. So what I did was that's when I drank a lot of green tea because the caffeine in the green tea helps you preserve that that hunger, that feel for hunger. It submerges that, and so I did that, and then I just had a bigger snack. So instead of like 1 apple and a banana, I'll have like 2 apples and a banana.
Gotcha.
And that's
Yeah, I
how
remember you
I
saying
started overall. But then once I got used to it, like I said, I'm 3 years into it now. It's like whatever. Like I don't mind going that long without it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been doing it and
Yeah.
haven't even noticed.
Yeah, I mean it works. Like yeah, again, you gotta realize what
You
works
just-
for you,
sometimes,
man. Like,
yeah.
'cause like again, like you might not think that it'll work for you, but if you don't try it, like then you'll never ever know, and you might feel better with it, or you might feel worse, and then at least you can scratch that off and be like, yeah, this ain't for me.
But you're not pushing it. But
Yeah. Nah, I don't know. I never know. See, like
yeah.
I feel like
The
I
whole
feel like people in
preaching.
general. I feel like people in general they feel better in certain ways, certain terms. But then I feel like a lot of times, like if I speak to somebody that's vegan, they're like somehow you can tell that they're kind of like miserable.
they're looking at you like, save me.
Yeah, like I don't know, it's just weird. Like it kind of just builds up, and it's like it kind of just seems to me that they're kind of like trapped. Like they're just doing it to like,
yeah,
Make a
it's
point.
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Maybe.
Because
It's
to me,
like-
it's like it's,
I'm not saying everyone, but I feel like in certain cases that's what goes on.
It brings it back to like the morality side of things, you know,
Right.
because they're trying to make a point. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
that's true.
You know, they're putting food aside to
Yeah.
Right.
to make a point that, you know, it's not a great way of eating.
Yeah, I mean,
Now, like I
And-
will, say,
but the
like,
point, but like making, that's my thing, making a point, but at the same time, every food, even if it is
it might not
vegan
be-
food, like it's not healthy. Like people think it just because it says vegan, that's it. Like God touched it and it's
Right,
blessed and
right.
that's it. Like no, seriously, and you're good, but it's not. Like it goes through like similar system,
Yeah,
and
it's-
it still
it's-
has bad
well,
things in it.
Well, it's definitely a big, you know, that's a big topic to dive into, and we don't have like all the scientific
yeah.
details, of
No.
course. But
right.
I mean, I think like you said before, Carlos, it varies between people.
It does,
Each
yeah.
person has
No,
a
it
different
does.
genetic
It
makeup,
does.
so
It
you
does.
know, meat for one person might not be good for another,
Right,
but
right.
veganism might be. So, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know. It's a
Like,
difficult
Because it
one.
has a lot of like the aspect of like being healthy.
yeah.
There are a lot of other things that go along with it. You know, like
No,
you're
sure.
trying to do, you know, have vegan, have whatever it is that you do, but then you don't sleep enough at night.
Yo,
So
hold
that
on.
doesn't
Oh,
help.
damn.
No, you know what I
No,
mean?
no,
Like,
it's true, yeah,
'cause then it
100%.
becomes
What do you
the
mean?
whole.
I sleep like about 8-12 hours.
No,
a day.
not
you
you.
definitely-
Not well. I mean, you. Yeah, but we're talking about it like in
You sleep
general.
what? No,
You sleep how
correct
many
that.
hours?
Try
Eight-
correct
8
it.
to
No, you
12 hours
don't.
a night.
How?
When?
How?
When?
You
Oh,
go to
we're
sleep
back
like
at
you go-
We're back
Sleep
at
like
to
the-
6
sleep like-
hours at most.
you barely sleep
Yo.
like 4 hours
Yeah,
at night.
dude.
Oh. Nah, I'm playing. Nah,
Some nights.
Nah, I will say this though. Like noticing again from
Go ahead.
from a recent just like life that the hardest part about being vegan is cooking, because it's figuring out like what meals to cook, what to make.
Right.
Because I feel
Yeah.
like if you had a private chef, like the main thing that brought my wife to like make the switch was we saw a show on Netflix called
Oh my
Game
god.
Changers.
Was that really it?
Yeah. But it was actually interesting because there was like NFL players in there that were vegan. There was UFC fighters in there that were vegan. There was powerlifters that were vegan. So obviously we're talking about people who like need it
Professionals.
for like professional athletes
Right,
that are
right,
actually
yeah.
exerting a lot of energy, not just regular people. And again, like the meals that like especially the NFL guys, because one of the guys, like his wife was like a chef, and the meals that she was making looked amazing. Like
Right.
so it
Right.
makes you be like, yo, I wouldn't mind being vegan
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah, then you
So
try
I think,
it. and
I think that's one of the hardest parts, the cooking of it. 'Cause
Right.
coming home and cooking and coming up with some shit is annoying, and then also going out to a restaurant to find a restaurant that's vegan is
Right.
annoying.
Right.
So it's
And it's
that-
also
think,
the-
think about for the normal
And the
person.
taste.
No,
of
I
it,
know,
too.
but
Who
it's
has-
also
what normal people don't have the time
Right.
coming from home from
Yeah.
work.
and you got to keep in mind it's not just for like vegans. I find that it's not just one meal or a couple meals. It's got to be sometimes 4, 5, 6 meals a day to actually get the amount of nutrients in there and calories and
yeah.
carbs, whatever it is. I think that's
No,
the
it's
toughest.
tough.
That's
It's
the
tough.
toughest part. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I haven't done
It's
it,
hard.
but from
I mean, if it helps you, like one of the things that like I liked like recently, well not recently, probably a year ago, I read a book that was about diets based on blood type, like because
Mhm.
obviously there's so many different
Oh, yeah.
blood types.
they were
And
telling
then-
me about that. Yeah.
And so like there's some blood types that actually do well with high acidic levels, which high acidic levels stem from animal proteins and stuff.
Okay.
So like there's people, and I'm actually one of those blood types that thrive on animal protein, and you do better with it. And so I don't know again if you believe in it or not, like obviously, but there is a research, like the author of the book was actually like a scientist and stuff. I don't know the name of the book though, my bad.
Right.
But there's those other diets that only thrive on like vegan food. So like obviously, if you believe in that type of thing of blood
Yeah.
type and stuff, then
Right.
then obviously that's why some people feel great on it, some people don't.
Right.
And then stuff like that. And there's also like different foods within it. Like some fruits affect different blood types more than others.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. It's just, I mean, obviously our whole bodies are just complex.
Yeah. And it's just like it's all about doing your homework, I guess. If you are gonna change and switch to that, it's just
Yeah.
doing your homework and figuring out
For yourself.
for
right?
yourself
Yeah,
what
right.
will work for you. Like I said, I mean, to me, like I don't think I'm ever going to become vegan because
We'll get you to try it though, for sure.
I have, and it tastes like sandpaper.
I mean, I've
Damn,
had.
my
we-
boy
No,
said
like
no.
I've just gotten used to the taste of bad food, like
Yeah.
food that is bad for your body,
Right.
as we say,
Like
and it's just
Kaku.
well,
Damn.
don't do that.
Kaku, good.
But yeah, I've just gotten
Yeah.
used to that.
No, I agree.
you know?
I agree. I think
What I've cut out from my diet, sorry to cut you off, is like soda. I used to be like really addicted
Really?
to soda.
Nah,
Yeah,
soda's
like I'll have
bad.
to during
It's
the
terrible.
week. It is terrible, and that's something that I've really cut out
That's
from
good.
my
Yeah?
diet, and it has helped me a lot. I've added a lot more just drinking water.
Water?
So
Yeah.
I drink a whole gallon.
that's what I'm trying to do. too.
That's what I'm trying to do
Yeah.
because
I'm
I
trying
was
to
I was
tell
actually like I was like you. I would drink a lot of water, and that water would pretty much go with like every meal. And now it's like I gotta have a soda, a lot of ginger ale, which is
It's
still,
so
it's still
crazy.
soda at the end of the
It's
day.
so crazy how
bad.
addicted we can get
No,
to
yeah,
it without
100%.
even thinking about
be
it.
careful with the
You know what I
sugar.
mean? Because
Yeah.
it's
Right.
like to me it was the same way,
Right.
and even now I still am like that, but it's not like I can cut it out. You know, like I
Right.
can just say, all right, today, you know what, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna.
No,
have
and the
soda.
thing is that like you don't have to necessarily just have plain water by itself. You could
Right.
you could add a couple things in
Yeah,
there.
they have
that-
seltzer
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, they have
stuff
seltzer
like
water.
that too. Like, it's
Uh,
not-
or
There's
even
some
just the
stuff.
lemon water.
Right,
You know,
right,
it,
yeah.
it does give it a little
Yeah.
taste. It does make it a little better if you're
Yeah.
having it with a meal. But yeah, no,
No,
water's
but
the
yeah,
best
cutting
thing.
out soda is huge. I think
Huge.
It
soda
is.
is
It's-
bad,
it is.
bad.
It is big.
High sugar in it. Nah.
High sugar, you know.
Processed shit too. But I think again, if you're gonna jump into any like diet changes, I think what you have to do is realize whether you're doing it for the right cause. Do it because you want to better your health and your life. Don't do it because your friend told you and they're doing great.
Right.
Don't do it because you saw a celebrity online do it. Like do it
Yeah.
for the right
And
reason.
think about the other aspects of it as well. Like think about, you know, like your sleeping pattern. Think about like
Oh yeah,
just your resting
other
time,
things you
like
can
taking
change,
care of
right,
your
yeah.
body and doing, because then it makes no sense
At
of
the end of the day, guys, pretty much like if you wanna have a healthy lifestyle or just healthy life in general, everything's like a balance, you know. So you could be eating great. If you're not sleeping good, if you're not doing exercise, it's still not gonna work. You're still not gonna feel 100%. So it's like, you know.
Yo.
if the shoe fit, you know what?
Anyways, guys,
Walk
I
around.
think it was a great topic.
Yeah.
Feel free, comment, like, subscribe. And,
Again, a lot of respect for vegans, vegetarians.
this is
Yeah,
not-
not trying to shoot
not-
you
we're
down.
not
Look,
go-
do
we're not
do
getting
what
at
you
you
gotta
guys,
do.
but-
I'ma still have my.
Props to you guys.
All right, guys, take
Appreciate
care.
it.
Until
Take
next
it.
time.